Okay, so I've gone live, and once I share my screen, you can proceed. Thank you.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, I've muted. You can proceed.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to today's meeting. Just a moment. All right, so we are so happy to have you on board today for our Zoom webinar for lecture hall this year. And sorry, don't say that. Alright, so sorry for the obstruction. So welcome once again to everyone to Lecture Hub's June webinar, tagged Navigating Offshore Oil and Gas Operations, the Tales of Offshore Workers. So we are so happy to have you all on board today. I can see our guest speakers, our panelists, and a lot of other people joining us from here and there. And so we would like you to introduce yourself in the chat box. Tell us your name and where you're coming from. So thank you for joining us in today's meeting. We are glad to have you. So can we just move on? Next slide, please. All right, so this is our agenda for today, and we will be starting with an opening prayer, which we will be taking the Nigerian national anthem, second stanza. So please, can we go there? Next slide, please. All right, thank you very much. So our opening prayer today, I will be taking it. And like I said before, it is the Nigerian national anthem. And I'll just go ahead. O God of all creation, grant this our one request. Help us to build a nation where no man is oppressed. And so, with peace and plenty, Nigeria may be blessed. Amen. You can type amen in the chat box. Thank you for joining us. I've been seeing some of us. Thank you for joining us, Stephanie, joining from Lagos. Thank you, Chimede. Thank you to all who have joined us today in today's meeting. I can assure you that today, in today's section, we are going to gain a lot of value from our speakers. We are going to gain a lot of value. So please make sure you don't go out. Make sure you've reserved a seat. You came with your book, your pen. You come with so much expectation and questions for our panelists and our guest speakers today. So thank you so much for joining us. Please, if you haven't introduced yourself yet, please do so in the chat box. Thank you. So we'll be taking our safety briefing next, and we'd like to call one of us by name Mene Favor to help us take the safety briefing. So Mene Favor, please can you confirm that you're on the call?
Yes, I'm on the call. Good evening, everyone. Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, very clear. Thank you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and once again, we are welcome to today's webinar. Please let's listen to these following safety precautions. Mute your mic when not speaking, and please do well to use the raise hand icon if you want to speak. Use the chat box or button if you have a question, for comments, queue for questions. Then also ensure you can still hear the fire alarm with your headset or with your earpiece. Be at alert and aware of your environment. As the session goes on, please do well to be alert and aware of your environment. Also do well to maintain a good sitting posture as displayed on the screen. And lastly, please remember to always stay safe. Thank you very much and please enjoy the session. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Favor. Thank you so much. Please also be informed that we are live streaming and this section is being recorded. So please do well to follow the guidelines that has been stated out here. So next we'll be taking the opening remarks, and one of our leaders here at Lecture Hall will be taking the opening remarks by name Eze Anthony. So please, Eze Anthony, confirm you on the call, please.
Yes, good evening, Rebecca. Good evening, everyone on the call.
Good evening. You're welcome.
Yeah, do I have the permission to go ahead now?
Yes, please. Please go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, once again on the call. And then welcome to our June webinar, where we'll be sharing secrets and have personnel who have worked onshore and offshore tell us how they're able to survive these terrains. These terrains can be difficult most times and can be challenging rather. So we have people who have survived it and who are still surviving it tell us how they're able to do it. And then I believe that at the end of these sections, we'll all go home knowing what to do, how to do them, how to position ourselves in the oil and gas, and then navigating our way through to the top. So I charge us all to sit down. If you don't have your note yet, please do get one, because we'll be learning so much tonight. And then sit tight and learn. Our keynote speaker is an astounding person who will be, if I just get seated, and we'll be learning so much in the course of this webinar. Thank you so much. And then over to you, moderator. Okay, permit me to also introduce Lecture Hub. So at Lecture Hub, our core values, we have our vision and our mission, and then we have all our programs conducted, our programs ranging from webinars like this one. We have our energy mentorship cycle, so which we also concluded the third session this year. And then we have so much testimonies from that cycle. And then, as you can see, Lecture Hub is a registered organization in Nigeria. So we're not just teaching you what is not legit. We teach you something that you can run with anywhere in the world. So do well to follow us on our LinkedIn, our social media handle, and then share with your friends, students, young professionals, and everybody within and outside this oil and gas space. So if you're yet to follow us on LinkedIn, please do that at the end of this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Anthony Eze. Thank you for that. Also, if you would love to see some of your friends learn from this particular webinar, you can still share the link on your social media. Tell them to join. Tell a friend to join our session today. Tell someone to tell someone else, and also follow us on our LinkedIn page and other social media pages, just as Mr. Eze Anthony has already said. So we'll just go over to the next. All right, so now we are entering into the main business of the day, and I have the privilege to introduce our keynote speaker for today's webinar, and his name is Mr. Effiong Bassey. Mr. Effiong Bassey is a maintenance and reliability professional with over 25 years of experience in the upstream and gas industry. Throughout his career, he has led major shutdown campaigns, reliability improvement initiatives, and asset integrity programs that have delivered measurable improvements in equipment performance, production availability, maintenance efficiency, and operational safety. He is a certified maintenance and reliability professional and a project management professional. Mr. Effiong holds a bachelor's degree in business administration from Royal Holloway University of London. He has led large-scale shutdowns, including a $22 million offshore operational a $22 million offshore campaign involving 300 plus personnel. He is focused on protecting production continuity and maximizing and minimizing operational risk. His work has contributed to eliminating vulnerabilities that could impact 50,000 BPD oil and 133 MMS CFV gas production. So additionally, his expertise spans reliability, sorry, additionally, his expertise spans reliability engineering, sorry for that, SAPD driven maintenance system, asset management, digital transformation, emerging technologies. He is particularly interested in the application of artificial intelligence to the industry operations, including predictive maintenance, process optimization, decision support, and knowledge management. He is a passionate mentor and speaker. Mr. Effiong enjoys sharing practical insights from decades of offshore experience to help young professionals navigate careers in the oil and gas industry while developing the technical competence, the leadership mindset, and the resilience required for long-term success. We are so happy to have you in our section today, our keynote speaker, Mr. Effiong Basi. Thank you for giving us the opportunity, the privilege to listen to you today. And please, if you are in this call, I want you all to welcome him with your best sticker, your best emoji. Welcome him as join me as we welcome Mr. Effiong Basi. Mr. Effiong Basi, please, if you're on the call, just say hello to me.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us today. I don't know if you should have the floor right now. All right. Okay. Hello, Ma. Can we go to the next slide? Hello. Ma FD, are you on the call?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Yes, please.
I'll stop sharing for the keynote speaker to take his advice.
All right.
Mr. Effie.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll share my screen now. Okay. Just a second. Okay. Next up to. Okay. Can we see the screen?
Yes, sir, we can.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So, good evening, everyone. Thank you, Lecture Hub, for inviting me to share this time with you. It's always a privilege to speak to young professionals because in many cases, I see myself in you guys. So many years ago, I was sitting where you are today, full of ambition, curiosity, and questions. I wanted to know what it really meant to work offshore. What was life like? You know, what was it as exciting as people said it was, or was it dangerous? Was it worth pursuing? You know, because back then there weren't many people willing to share the realities of offshore life. You know, now with this streaming culture, there's hardly any industry or any work front that you can't have real-time front row seats to see what is going on there, whether it's live offshore or even in the military. You still see people streaming live combat scenes. Like I remember the Russia and Ukraine war. You could go to places and watch what was really happening real time. Surgery, people conducting surgery, medical professions. So almost everybody now is streaming, so you can really see and tell. And also social media culture too makes people have an understanding of what people do in their different industries. So that's what we are really trying to do now. Today, I would like to change that. It's not just going to be a technical lecture. You won't see complicated equations. You won't see, you have no need to understand thermodynamics or fluid mechanics to benefit from today's discussion. Instead, I'm going to tell stories, stories about people, stories about decisions, stories about leadership, about failure, and about resilience. Because when you leave university, your greatest challenges won't always be technical. They'll often be people, encounters with people. So today I'd like to take you on a journey into a world most people never get to see. So let's embark on this journey. So people often ask me, how did you build a career offshore? And the truth is, I'm a product of capitalized opportunities, taking advantage of opportunities. I didn't wake up one morning with a master plan, but I took advantage of the opportunities that were available to me at the time. And I was blessed with good fortune. Sometimes the opportunities may be there, you may take advantage of it, but it may not pan out the way you plan. But I was blessed with good fortune. So that has meant mentors, challenges, lucky breaks, and opportunities along the way that has culminated into over 2 decades of field experience with a lot of war stories to boot. So, like many careers, mine was built one opportunity at a time. And during that time, I have flown offshore hundreds of times. I've participated in major campaigns of shutdown. I've walked through nights where production depended on decisions made by a handful of people. I've celebrated successful startups. I've also experienced equipment failures that reminded everyone how unforgiving the oil business can be sometimes. So one lesson became very clear. Experience is a wonderful teacher, but is also an expensive teacher. She charges tuition before giving the lesson. So every success taught me something. Every mistake taught me even more. And today I'm hoping you can borrow some of these lessons without paying the same tuition. Because this presentation is not really about me. It's about helping you prepare for your own journey. It's about you seeing and sizing yourself up and asking yourself that question. Do I really want to embark on this journey working offshore? What does it even really mean to work offshore? So let's explore that question a little bit. Most people imagine only one picture. When they think about offshore, they think of an oil platform standing alone in the middle of the sea. But offshore is much bigger than that. It is an entire industrial ecosystem. Can you all hear me? Can you hear me? If you can help me, give me a thumbs up.
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
All right, all right. So this industrial complex or ecosystem consists of fixed platforms. You have floating production, storage, and offloading vessels. That's what you refer to as your FPSOs. You have jackup rigs, you have drilling ships, supply vessels, construction vessels. You have accommodation barges, popularly known as floating hotels. You've got subsea pipeline installations, helicopters in the air, marine vessels and marine terminals on shore, pipelines stretching for hundreds of kilometers beneath the sea. So this whole ecosystem of industrial complexes is what consists of what you call offshore. I'm working offshore. And each one exists for a purpose. Each one requires people. And that's something I want you to appreciate. Offshore isn't simply about petroleum engineers drilling wells. It's far from it. You've got mechanical techs, you've got electrical techs keeping our power systems alive, instrumentation engineers who ensure that control systems work. You have chemical engineers optimizing production processes. You have safety men that are, ensure that people are working safely. Supply chain professionals coordinating the movement of people and materials, planners synchronizing hundreds of maintenance activities. You also have data analysts to improve decision making. So the field and the scope is wide. There's room for almost every discipline offshore. And that's then comes the biggest adjustment, which is really living offshore. So imagine living where you work. Your bedroom is upstairs, your office is downstairs, the cafeteria serves everyone. And so your work environment becomes your home. And that's another thing you need to consider. Offshore is not a place where you can't keep somebody inside your heart for too long, you know, um, because if you are working onshore, you are working in an office by 4 o'clock, you just say, I beg, I'm done with these guys, and you leave. It's not the same. Offshore is a closed environment, a closed community. So the people you work with, you're seeing them everywhere. You're seeing them in the mess hall, you're seeing them in your office, you're probably bunking in the same room with them. So you have to learn to get along with people. You have to have high level of emotional intelligence. It teaches you patience. It teaches you how to work in teams, develop a good team spirit. I still remember waking up one morning offshore, walking outside to see the ocean, the horizon stretched endlessly, only sounds of waves and machinery. So moments like that remind you how small we really are, and how nature has a way of humbling everyone. So there's just this vast stretch of nothingness, just water and the horizon, where the earth touches the sky. That's all you can see. So, but what does an ordinary day actually look like offshore? So if you're working offshore, how does your day look like? Are you just sitting down there doing nothing, or, so let's explore that a little bit. So one thing that surprises almost every first-time offshore worker, and that is structure. The environment is a very structured environment. So if you're somebody who is not given to structure, you don't deal very well with structure, and for most people, well, let me not use most, but a lot of people who had a boarding house experience can also relate with that. There's a fixed time when you wake up, there's a time when you go to bed, there's a time when so that's the kind of life you experience when you're offshore. Everything is structured. Every hour has a purpose. You wake up early, you attend operational meetings, you review work scopes, you conduct toolbox talks, you receive permits, perform maintenance, you attend coordination meetings, complete shift handover notes, and this goes on repeat. Same time, same way, every day. So if that's not something that you're up to, maybe that environment might not be for you. So one thing you now learn is that discipline provides or creates freedom, because everybody follows the same rhythm. Nobody wastes time wondering what's going to happen next. It's predictable. You know how things are done every single day. And one of the biggest lessons offshore taught me is this: success is rarely dramatic. It's not one cataclysmic event. It is usually the result of ordinary disciplines repeated consistently. And that's true for offshore. It's true in business. It's true in life. That level of consistency, the level of discipline that is required. And people are often admire successful professionals. The discipline, the preparation, the consistency. And that is what offshore can provide for you. So, let's move on to the next slide. Let's talk about safety. Safety. Now, some level of capital formation came together. So people came together, put funds together. There was a project management involved to develop and build these offshore facilities, to put them in place. And the main reason is to exploit oil and gas for the sake of turning a profit. But you see, none of that is as important as the most important value that offshore personnel have, which is safety. Safety is the bedrock, the foundation of everything that we do out there. It's a big deal. If there is one slide I want you to remember, it is this one. Because offshore is not built on oil, it's built on safety. Every permit, every isolation, every toolbox meeting, every gas test lockout procedure exists because somewhere somebody got hurt. It is a popular saying in the place I used to work before, one of the organizations I worked for, that safety is written, the safety rules are written with the bloods of men. So it means that for every safety rule that comes up, somebody somewhere got hurt. Possibly somebody lost his life. And as a result, when they investigate, they were able to come up with safety rules. So safety is everything, is very, very important in what we do. And we don't want to get people coming to work for us and then you have or build a reputation that, that company kills people. We don't want that. It's bad for the brand, it's bad for business, so safety is a very big thing out there. You want people to, we don't want to classify working offshore as a high risk environment. Yes, it has its risk, but the idea is to ensure that we minimize that risk and people can confidently go to come offshore and then go back home to their families safely. So it's a big deal. So unsafe work eventually stops everything. In offshore operations, no production targets, no maintenance schedule, no commercial pressure is worth a human life. We have a saying in one of the organizations I also worked, that safety, no amount of safety is worth a human life. You can't trade a human life for a drop of oil. So safety is very important. So everyone has stop work authority. Think about it. The newest trainee, the youngest technician, the contractor on his first trip, every one of them has the right to stop work. That's the authority that everybody has. And you don't have to ask questions, you have to follow it. Safety is not hierarchical, no job titles. So sometimes the person with the least experience notices something everyone else missed. And that's why good leaders listen. And that's why good organizations create psychological safety. People must see comfortable or must feel comfortable speaking up. If they see something that they feel is unsafe, they have to speak up. So I'd rather stop work for 10 minutes than investigate any accident for 10 months. So production is optional, but everyone going home safely is not. So what are the career or the different career paths that you can consider to work offshore? Let's explore that a little bit. So one of the biggest myths I encounter among prospects is this: if I don't become a drilling engineer, there is no future offshore. And nothing could be further from the truth. Think about an offshore platform as a small city. A city needs electricity, it needs water, it needs security, it needs healthcare, maintenance, planning, communications, transportation, emergency services, engineering. So the offshore industry is exactly the same. There are opportunities in those fields: operations, maintenance, reliability, inspections, scaffolding, a project manager, supply chain professionals, people who work in the marine industry, instrumentation, electrical, mechanical, safety people, logistics, even data analysts. There's a place for you. Medical professionals there's a place for them too, offshore. Security personnel, there's a place for them too, offshore. So artificial intelligence, if you have a skill set in that area. So almost anybody can work offshore with the right tools, the right certifications, with the right position, which we're going to discuss or point out later in these slides. So every discipline contributes to keeping production running safely and reliable. The question is not which job pays the most. The better question is, where can I create the most value? So you look at all of these needs that are required offshore. How can you position yourself and prepare yourself to be able to take advantage of these opportunities? not job titles, not prestige, not popularity. So in the next section, we're going to talk about what actually makes people successful offshore. And I suspect the answer will surprise many of you because it has very little to do with your GPA. Your GPA is important, excelling in your academics is very, very important. But there are a lot of other things that are considered beyond that. So academic excellence matters. Study hard, master your fundamentals, graduate with the best grades that you can. But here's something the workplace teaches very quickly. Your degree gets you the interview. Your character determines how long you stay. So I've met brilliant engineers, brilliant prospects who couldn't work with people. They just couldn't work with people. Not that they don't want to work with people, but there are certain attitudes that they display that makes it difficult for them to work with people, or people find it difficult to work with them. So, and I've met average people, average graduates who become exceptional leaders. And what's the difference? It's not intelligence, it's behavior. So let me explain. Number one, communication. The offshore industry runs on communication. Equipment doesn't fail because steel is weak. Many failures happen because people misunderstand one another. So you have to learn to communicate clearly, learn to listen even better, learn to communicate. So communication is an essential skill. And then you must also be a problem solver. When equipment fails, nobody wants excuses. There's a popular saying I saw somewhere, excuses are the nails or the bricks with which a house of failure is built. So the industry that we live in, the industry that we work in, unlike any other industry or any other place, no excuses. You must be a problem solver. So discipline, like I mentioned earlier, once you're in an environment that is a structured environment, you have to be disciplined. You must read your procedures, you must arrive prepared, manage yourself properly, be a professional at your job. And then humility, you have to be humble. You cannot be, you can't learn thinking that you know everything. You have to be humble. I know a lot of people, obviously, most organizations hire smart people right from the gate, but just forget everything. You can't enter into an offshore environment thinking that you are smart, that you know everything. I remember as a greenhorn, when I got hired, some over two decades ago, um, and there was a guy we got hired at about the same time, and we went into a meeting. You're just attending all the regular meetings. I mentioned there are a lot of meetings structured meetings that we have, and this guy um, went in there. As a newbie, one of the things that you are going to do a lot is ask questions. You must ask questions. And to ask questions means you are saying that I don't know. And for you to say I don't know, it means you are humble. You have humbled yourself. But this guy went in there and he started telling them that what they were doing was wrong. Oh my God. I just prayed that the ground will open up and swallow us up because you could see the battle-tested faces that were looking at him. But we had an experienced installation manager at the time who diffused the situation where he was like, you know what, if you shut a baby up when the baby is trying to talk, the baby may never talk again. So that kind of resolved the situation. But what I'm trying to emphasize here is humility. You have to be humble. And then ownership. Whatever they've entrusted you with, you have to own it. Leaders love people who own problems. So I've discovered something. Companies don't promote the smartest people. They promote people they trust. That means dependable people, people that they can give something to. It will not spoil in their hands. As a matter of fact, they will not just preserve it, they will make it better. All right. So let's talk about trust for a little bit. On my first trip offshore, I remember that morning vividly. the helicopter terminal was buzzing with activity. Everyone seemed calm except me. I mean, I was nervous and excited at the same time. This was going to be my first helicopter ride. I was at the threshold of the realization of my dreams. You have been dreaming of this thing for a while, and now you're at the precipice of it. So I had absolutely no idea what offshore life would actually look like. So when the helicopter lifted off, reality began, the terminal town where we were stationed at, disappeared, and all we could see was just ocean, ocean, ocean. We're going. So the thing became bigger and bigger. Then eventually the helicopter landed. And then the moment I stepped onto that installation, everything changed. You just really become humble because you see things that you're wondering, yes, you were taught, you were trained, you're certified to be there, but you're meeting these things for the first time. The noise, the vibration, the scale. You won't read any of that in the textbook. I mean, for many of you who are considering a career going offshore, just be prepared that whatever you have been taught, you're going to experience and see things for the first time, and you've got to learn them on the job. So, but the most important thing that struck me was the people. They were very welcoming. They corrected me. They taught me, sometimes patiently, sometimes not so patiently. And I learned perhaps that the greatest lesson of my career, when you're new, is that you watch more, you listen more, you ask questions. Don't be like my greenhorn friend who was thinking he was he was an advisor. So don't you are new, so you have to ask questions, observe how experienced people think, and then competence begins with curiosity. You have to ask questions. Young professionals often feel pressure to prove themselves immediately. No, you're not there to prove yourself. You're there to learn. Work with the mindset and with whoever you are shadowing, that at some point in time, whatever the person is doing, that you are going to be the one doing it, and you're not going to need to ask too many questions at that time. That's the mindset. And the way to do that is you have to learn how that person is thinking and seeing the job. Learn fast, learn humbly, and learn continuously. All right. So, if you've ever experienced a shutdown, I don't know what kind of industrial experience you guys have on the group, but imagine trying to renovate an entire hospital while patients are waiting outside and reopening on a fixed date. That's a shutdown. So you're stopping production to fix a problem. And if you're not producing, it means that there's no need. We are not supposed to be in business. So the time pressure is usually very enormous. There's a lot of pressure. Every hour that you're down is costing you money. Every delay has consequences. And the pressure is enormous. So planning started months before execution. Work packs are developed, materials are staged, procured, isolation plans are developed, contingencies are thought through, you engage contractors that you're going to work with. So every detail matters. There was one shutdown that we were planning and we executed successfully. It was 15 days oil to oil. So what that means is from the point where we are shutting down production, ramping down, isolating the plant, securing it, and then also coming back up to production, was going to take us 15 days. A lot of planning had gone into it, execution workshops, safety case, everything, but at the point where we are supposed to execute, things don't always go the way, the way, you planned, and that's really the beauty of planning. Don't think that any time you invested planning, that things are always going to go the way you want them to go. No, the value is that you have a template of what good should look like. And so you can always course correct. And that's what we did. When things weren't going our way, maybe isolation valves weren't working as much as we wanted them to, the introduction of maybe scope creep, where people are now bringing in jobs that did not go in through the normal approval process. Things like that can happen during a shutdown. But at times like that, leadership becomes very visible. The installation manager we had at the time also rose up to the challenge, stepped up and really ensured that though we may be deviated by 2 days, not more than 2 days, but that the job stayed on course till we completed the job was the shutdown campaign was completed with no injury to any personnel, no damage to any equipment. So it was a huge success, and that's the point where leadership becomes a very, very powerful component to achieving successful goals and objectives. And that's what you're going to see when you go offshore. That's what you also aspire to become, a great leader. You know, leadership becomes very important. So if you're whatever kind of technical skills that you are developing at this time to position yourself uh, to build a career offshore, the one thing you also have to keep developing is leadership skills, the ability to lead yourself and to also lead and influence others. Critical skill. So offshore isn't glamorous. Social media shows helicopters, beautiful sunsets, ocean views, people wearing coveralls, safety equipment. It looks exciting, and sometimes it is. If you're out there are some days you're like, wow, I can't believe I'm out here doing this and seeing the world that a lot of people will not have the privilege to see. But sometimes it's also complicated because you're away from your family, you miss birthdays. I mean, I just had lunch with one of my nieces today, and she told me, Uncle, you have not been around for 4 of my birthdays, the last four. And I'm like, no, I've been there. So we have to now go into my phone or her phone to check timelines to see that, oh, actually, the last time I was at your birthday was really 4 years ago. So you miss events like that, anniversaries, school events, sometimes funerals. You miss funerals. I mean, I was working with a guy who was going to go out for his a relative, very close relative of his sister's funeral, but he missed it, because he was offshore. So that's the trade-offs that you make. You work nights, you work holidays, because while a lot of people may be popping champagne during Christmas, there are guys out there ensuring that we are meeting the energy needs of the world. So that's the other side of working offshore that you don't see. The energy never sleeps. So therefore, there's no point in time when things are going the way they are supposed to that you're not producing. You're always working 24 hours of the day. And the weather doesn't ask whether you're tired. Rain can fall at any point in time with high gust winds. Equipment can fail at any point in time, and you have to respond. Fatigue is real, stress is real, homesickness is real, isolation is real. So a lot of camaraderie has to happen while you're out there. People check up on each other. So why do people stay? Because offshore offers something very few carriers provide: purpose. That's what it does. One of the things that I also have a military background. So, and this is the closest profession that comes close to working in the military. And the aspect of it that I can relate with is camaraderie, people building bonds of relationship, forging friendships that are usually very strong and unbroken. So you become part of something larger than yourself. Energy powers hospitals, schools, factories, transportation, entire economies. You contribute to that when you're working offshore. And something else happens. The people beside you become family. And you know why that is so? When you've solved difficult problems together, you've shared meals, you've walked through emergencies, you have fought each other, reconciled, and found yourself in the same room sleeping together, those relationships become lifelong. Some of the closest friends today that I have began offshore, and the work is difficult, but people make it worthwhile. So these are the things you need to consider if you're considering a career offshore. So what are the qualities? What qualities separate people who thrive offshore from those who struggle? you know. And for me, there are several. I'll just point out 8. Number 1 is integrity, doing the right thing. Number 2, competence, knowing your craft, studying continuously, and people trust competence. So you need to develop competence. Humility, we talked about it and we've mentioned it several times. You need to be humble. You need to be humble. And humility doesn't mean you're genuflecting. It means that you get into situation that you do not know and you have to own up like, I don't know. I can find out, but you have to be humble. Situational awareness, that means you're reading the room, you're reading situations and understanding how we need to pivot from here. Emotional control, like I mentioned, there are emergencies that can happen that you don't need to panic, because when you panic, it's contagious, it spreads. And the same thing, if you're calm, that calmness also spreads, it's contagious. So you need to control your emotions. You have to continuously open yourself to learning. You need to learn. Technologies change, processes change, industries change. So all of these things you need to open up yourself to learning. And then team spirit, like I mentioned, camaraderie. You can't be offshore and be a solo person. You can't. You have to learn to work with people. You have to learn to achieve more with people. You need to learn to work with people. And then accountability. When something goes wrong, own up. I'm the one who made it. It was my fault or something. You have to be accountable. And then I've learned something interesting, Joe. Technical skills may get you higher, but character, all these kinds of qualities that I've mentioned, is whether people will want to work with you, again. So speaking of technology, I think it would be amiss for me not to mention artificial intelligence, because there's absolutely nothing you're considering right now. I'm sure that's the global conversation that is happening all over the world around artificial intelligence. And offshore is not exempted from that. A few years ago, artificial intelligence felt like science fiction, something that you could watch out of a movie. Think of things like Iron Man, right? There's this Jarvis, that was the character in Iron Man, that Iron Man suit, the artificial intelligence that powers his suit, Jarvis. What's the difference between Jarvis and Alexa or Siri? So all of those, that's artificial intelligence at play. So many of us use it today, every day, and offshore operations are changing just as quickly. So imagine this: instead of waiting for a pump to fail, algorithms predict failure weeks in advance. And instead of inspecting your flares manually, you can use a drone to go up there, inspect it. You can search thousands of maintenance reports using digital tools like Power BI and things like that. So knowledge becomes searchable, becomes digital. It's available instant. And this is in the future. It's something that is already happening. So one of the questions that a lot of engineers do ask is, oh, will AI replace engineers? And to me, I think it's a definite no. AI will not replace engineers, but engineers who do not use AI will be replaced by engineers who do. So technology has always rewarded adaptation. So the more we adapt to this technology, the more we become rewarded for it. So whatever kind of developmental program that you're pushing yourself to in preparing for a career in offshore operations or maintenance, whatever it is, make sure that you have AI as a component of that developmental program. So here are some things that you can upskill yourself in. We also obviously know Excel, Power BI, data is everywhere. You have to use data to build a compelling story to tell your upline or whoever cares to listen. It's not just the technical aspect, but also storytelling using data. So that's one skill that you can take. Python, there's this program on ChatGPT Codex or so. That's something I'm picking up interest in. So instead of you sitting down learning how to code by yourself, I think we've gone past that. Now you can have AI tools that can do all that kind of coding for you, but you have to think through what you're trying to develop. and all of that. So reliability fundamentals, mean time, you have to understand concepts about mean time between failures, root cause analysis, preventive maintenance and conditioning monitoring, failure modes. These are things that you need to be aware of. And then reading P&IDs. One of the biggest advantages you can give yourself is learning to read piping and instrumentation diagrams fluently, because that's the language of your plant. That's the plant speaking to you and telling you, this is how I function. So you need to be proficient in reading P&IDs, also understanding the process. When you go into a plant, understand, ask question, how does this plant work? Know the process fluids and how they travel, the conditions, the critical operating parameters. These are things you need to also be aware of. Learning a CMMS, a computerized maintenance management system, things like SAP or IBM Maximo. These are things you need to be proficient with. And then we are talking about the human skills, building your LinkedIn profile, making it look sharp. That's usually the first things that employers go and check and see the brand that you are building. And you need to network intentionally, go for conferences, whether it's NAPE, whether it's the oil and gas conference that happens in Abuja, I think twice every year. So all those kind of spaces are places you need to find yourself. Lecture hub is one, be part and be parcel of what they do here. And I know it's not just oil and gas that they speak here, but many other industries. So you need to be aware of all of these avenues that you can position yourself with. So this is a very important slide for me. There are two slides that I mentioned. The first one had to do with safety, don't forget it. But this is the second one. And this one makes us understand that the skill sets that you require to work offshore is a global skill set. It's not just localized, because we have all these offshore operating environments, the Gulf of Mexico, you have Guyana, Brazil, the North Sea has been like there forever. The Gulf states around the Middle East, we talked about the Hormuz Straits that is currently Straits of Hormuz. Everybody knows about it now. And then the coastline of West Africa, and then down to the south in Namibia. So all of these places are places that all the skills that you use offshore are transferable. And let me just touch on the certifications that will be required if you're interested in working offshore. Well control certification, IWCF. BOSIET is one of them. So BOSIET and Hewitt, these two are required. In short, most places you can't go offshore unless you have these certificates. You have to have BOSIET, you have to have Hewitt. And these are offshore safety induction as well as helicopter underwater escape certificates. That basically really life offshore, how to survive when you're offshore or in a casualty or you find yourself in water. So that's the certification that is required. CMRP is another one. If you're interested in maintenance and reliability, you have to have that certification. PMP, project management, a lot of projects happen offshore, greenfield projects, brownfield projects. These are certifications that make you globally recognized. NEBOSH is another international HSC standard certification. These are certifications that from the jump, without anybody asking you questions, you produce these kinds of certificates and they know what you are talking about. At the very minimum, it gives you a foot in the door for you to be able to even put yourself in positions where you can be interviewed and you can sell yourself there. So these are certifications for you to consider. All right, so finally, in my biggest career lessons in the last 22 years or in the last 25 years, lesson number one is that reputation compounds. So people remember reliability, they remember integrity, they remember consistency. So protect your name. It is your greatest professional asset. And then two, competence, create competence. Competence creates confidence. True confidence isn't loud. It doesn't need to announce itself. It comes from preparation, study, practice. You improve from the feedback that you get. Your confidence will naturally flow. And then relationships, very important. You have to cultivate relationships. Relationships open doors. The best opportunities in my career didn't come from job advertisement. It's somebody tapping you and say, you can do this job. I remember when my installation manager appointed me to become the shutdown lead, maintenance lead, execution lead. He could have given that job to anybody else, but he felt I could do the job, and that opened me up to a lot of opportunities, developmental opportunities, and things like that. So people matter. People matter. In my native dialect, there's an adage that says, clothes don't mean anything, money doesn't mean anything, but people are our greatest wealth. Humility, I keep mentioning it, it accelerates learning. You cannot pour into a vessel that is full. If the vessel is full, it can't take in anything. So unless you empty yourself, that's when you can take in something. But if you go into a place from the jump thinking that it's all right, keep knowing. Let's see how it works out for you. So safety is everyone's responsibility. Whether you are the graduate trainee or the managing director, everyone is responsible for safety. And character is greater than talent. Talent may get you hired, but character is what keeps you there and makes you even enjoy the job, because people like working with people of character. So never stop learning. Technology changes, industries evolve, entire careers disappear. I mean, look at me now. I'm trying to become an expert in artificial intelligence and all those types of things. Something that was, unheard of. At the time, I did the same thing to data analytics. It was something that I did. So when the tide keeps changing and new things are coming to the work front, you have to get on board with it. So you need to just keep learning skills, acquiring skills and learning them. It may be things you may not even use on the job, but it just makes you to be at the cutting edge of what's possible. So before I leave you guys now, I'd like to ask 4 questions. Don't answer them aloud, but answer them honestly. Number 1 is, how can I become useful? And then number 2, what problems can I solve? Number 3, who can mentor me? You need to find somebody who has seen it before, make your road to that place short by telling you, Baba, that place you want to go, it's not going to help you, or that thing you want to do. So you need mentors. And then what skills make me difficult to replace? And remember that sometimes it's not just hard skills. Oh, I can code. And then you are coding, but everybody is walking on eggshells around you. Let me tell you something. And you can take it to the bank. Nobody is irreplaceable. Let's start with that. You understand? Don't think that this company cannot move unless nobody is irreplaceable. So what now adds to those your technical skills are those soft skills that we mentioned about. Some people, they can keep them on the payroll just even because the guy in the try, but man, the guy is a lovely guy. When he's around, the energy around here, everybody just feels good. So you have to also develop soft skills that makes it easy for you to work with people and for people to easily work with you. So those 4 questions. So I think the 3 slides that are strong, should I say, bookmarks for you guys. This one are the questions you need to ask, the ones that carry the certifications and show and gives you global relevance, as well as the safety slide. So those are the 3 things that I'm leaving you guys with. So one day you'll stand where today's leaders stand, and the question isn't whether opportunity will come. The question is whether you be ready. Thank you so much, guys, for your time. And thank you, Lecture Hub, for the opportunity to share from the wealth of my experience. And I hope that through this lecture, that somebody somewhere will make a hardcore decision to say, you know what, I'm going to pursue a career that takes me offshore, and I'll do the right thing. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time.
wherever you are, just sticker around everybody, make sure you're clapping. If you truly gain value from this section, I want you to truly be clapping. Please make sure you are critical. You can use the chat section, you can use the emojis, you can use whatever that is favorite to you right now. Because truthfully, our keynote speaker, Mr. Effion, has truly shared his sweat of knowledge with us today. Starting from telling us how he built his career around offshore, which was by taking advantage of opportunities. These opportunities are well around us, and he has hinted us again today for you all to stand up and take advantage of opportunities from within and around us. He also taught us so many other things. So we want to say thank you. Thank you. This section was truthfully an insightful section. It was truthfully an insightful section. There are so many other things I learned from this section. So many other things that I learned from this section. So please let's keep appreciating mentor, speaker and keynote speaker for today's session. He has done so much for us. I know that before now, a lot of us, including myself, were just thinking that offshore just equals drilling. When you just hear about offshore, you're just thinking about only the drilling engineers and all of that. But he did a lot of things. He told us today so many opportunities. In case some of us are asking questions like, oh, where do we begin? Where do I even start from? Where do I? There are so many things listed that are important. So many career opportunities. So many spaces from the operations to the planning to data analysis to projects to logistics to electrical. So if you are in any position in any sector from today, you can you already know where to begin. You already know where to start. All right. So thank you so much, Mr. FM Bassi. We are so grateful for your presence with us. We are so grateful for the weight of knowledge you shared with us today. But we want you to help us answer some questions. We have some questions that we'd like to ask you. And as the slide is coming up, we would like to just take a few questions. So we'd like to ask you a few questions. Yeah, thank you so much, Ma'am.
Okay, go ahead.
So the first question we have, please confirm you can see the screen from your end too.
Yes, I can.
All right, sir. Thank you. Take the first question, which says, given our backgrounds as geologists, we have geoscientists, we have the petroleum engineers, we have people from different fields anyway. The first question we have here says, what geological factor poses the biggest risk during offshore site selection and drilling?
I have no idea. That's beyond my skill set.
All right. Oh, thank you, sir. We'll go to number 4, the fourth question. We talked about safety, which was one of the most important slides in today's section for you and also for us. So the question says, which safety system and protocols are most critical for protecting crew and equipment offshore?
Safety systems and protocol most critical for protecting crew and equipment offshore. I think it's culture. The culture of the organization, and culture doesn't exist in isolation. It's the people who drive culture. And then when you talk about people, it now means leaders who are influencers. So that means it comes down to the leaders in those organizations, not just the board of directors, not just the executives, not just the middle managers or the line supervisors, but right down to the guys, quote and unquote, at the shop floor. So it's culture. It doesn't matter what is penned on paper. You can write volumes of of safety rules, protocols, this and that, but it is people, leaders, and culture is collective behavior. That's really what it is. So if you have a culture of there are organizations you go in, from the job, these guys are safe, these guys live safety, so it's culture, it's the people, and if you want to put it down to one thing, is the leaders. That means it's people standing their ground and saying, no, we have determined that nobody in this facility or in this organization is going to get hurt. So it's culture, it's people, it's the leaders.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Ify. I'm sorry, I can't really speak as loud as I should, but thank you so much, sir, for the keynote presentation. It was really, really an excellent presentation, and I'm sure most people on the call have been able to get a lot of things from the presentation. But just before I let you go, I want you to a little bit buttress on offshore platform decommissioning. Um, I don't really know much about that, and I'm sure some people will want to know what it means to decommission an offshore platform.
Okay, for that, to be honest, I've not been or experienced a decommissioning of a platform. What I've actually seen is a situation where you may determine it, and one of the facilities I actually worked for got to the stage where it was deemed, should I say, unfit to have people reside there. So what used to happen is you can operate it, but you wouldn't be on site. You come in, do your work, and then go out, till there were some kind of upgrades done, as well as bringing in a Jacob badge that was breach connected and all of that. So in terms of actually seeing and having experiential knowledge of how decommissioning occurs, I do not have that. I know there are things inside the along regulatory compliance about paying something to the government and returning it back to how you found the site. You don't just leave some kind of big clunky chunk of metal sitting down there on the platform. But in terms of seeing it done in practice, I have not. And one of the oldest organization plants I've ever worked on was built, I think, 1974, if I'm not mistaken, but in the 70s, and it's still operational till today. It's still doing quite some numbers in the tens of thousands. So I haven't seen one where it's been left not to render or decommissioned. I don't have that experience.
Okay, sir. Thank you so, so much, sir, for your time. And this is Future actually speaking.
Oh,
Thank you
Victor,
so
thank you
much.
so much. Thank you, Victor.
Thank you so much, sir, for honoring our invitation to take the keynote. I was paying attention to your presentation, and I could have asked for a better keynote. Thank
Yeah,
you so much, sir,
thank you.
for the keynote at the shortest time.
Yeah.
And on this occasion, I would love to call on. Um, I think we need to have an headshot first. So please, sorry, we won't be taking questions. The person that is up will not be taking questions again for the keynote. So at this junction, I would love to indulge us to please turn on our cameras, so our videos, so we can take a screenshot of our faces, beautiful faces. Um, I will be left out. Sorry, I have to be left out in the caption. I can't really do that now. So please, I'll just wait for as many people to do that so I can take the screenshot of it. Thank you, Luafemi. I can see that you're currently in the field. Thank you for joining us. I'm looking for a better way to take the picture. Okay, I've seen it. Okay. So please, you can smile. Thank you, Mr. Ifai. Thank you for smiling. Sorry, you can't see my face. I'm currently on a medical leave. So forgive me this time. Okay, thank you very much. You can turn off your camera now. Thank you very, very much. Okay, so at this junction, I'll share my screen. So we proceed to the next phase because one of our panelists is joining us from Germany, and we are so privileged to have her join the call. So I'll proceed to the next item, which has to do with the certificate of appreciation presentation to our keynote speaker. So I'll give the floor to Menefevo. Menefevo, can you hear me? Menefevo, can you hear me? Okay, so I'll call on Queen Zalifa, please. Can you go ahead with the presentation of award to the keynote speaker?
Can you hear me? Good evening,
Yes,
everyone.
I can hear you.
Okay, so we present the certificate of appreciation to Mr. Effiong Bassi as our keynote speaker for today's lecture hub meeting. We really, really appreciate you for taking out time to come and impute in us words of wisdom. So this is our little way of saying thank you very much for your time and for the words you've poured into us this evening. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Bassi. So I'll email the award to you, and maybe eventually when we meet, we'll physically have a discussion. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation. And I don't know, but I think some of our participants may probably request for your slides. So if it's possible, we can email the registered and participant for that slide if it is okay with you.
Yes, I'll forward it to you, and then you can distribute it to whoever you want to do.
Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate. Thank you, sir.
Sure.
Okay, so we have had a very beautiful keynote, and I can tell you it has been a very, very great ride. I love the presentation. I've never been offshore, or from this presentation. Oh, okay. Thank you, Mr. Effiong. I'll do the correction. Thank you, sir. So I've never been offshore. I'm not sure if I've been onshore too, but this presentation was very, very explicit. It gave us a very great background of what the offshore life is. It's not about the coveralls, it's not about taking the pictures on a platform covered with water or with sea, but it's about the integrity, the life, the demanding nature of working away from home. So at this junction, we are going directly into the panelists. We had to take the keynote because we wanted a great understanding of what a panelist would be talking on. So I want to introduce our panelists, and then I'll be starting with Zova. She's actually called her Spy. So I'll be starting with Spy. So I'll proceed with our bio. So Zuba has successfully transitioned her extensive emergency care experience to the international offshore sector, having now completed her GWO HUET certifications with the German Red Cross DRK. Following a personal health challenge, she made the decisive choice to distance herself from entities that hindered her personal growth and prevented her from offering her full potential as a paramedic in pre-hospital emergency care. She is now focused on applying her expertise in the international offshore sector, driven by a constant desire for challenges and the unique opportunity for exploration. Our core competencies and expertise cut across 15 years plus of hands-on experience in high-stress autonomous pre-hospital care, Greece, certified trauma instructor, GWO, and HEUT certified, which also involved sea survivor, fire awareness, first aid, manual handling, working at height. She is also fluent in Greek and German, working towards C1 English proficiency. Before I go further to the next paragraph, Zuba reached out to me that she's having an intermediate English proficiency. So at any point in time, you could not hear clearly, you can always drop a chat and we address it accordingly. Jova is grateful for the good and the bad moments as they have helped her become the person she is today. Zova is full of zeal, determination, discipline, passion, and a commitment to working without boundaries on the path to fulfillment. With a clapping ovation, please can we welcome Zova? Please, Zova, can you confirm you can hear me?
Yeah, so thank you very much for the invitation. Sorry for my English, it's very terrible. I'm trying to do it my best. That's why I have
Thank
my
you.
seats in front of me. So
Thank you very much. So I'll move next. Can we send in our emojis to welcome her? So I'll take the next introduction of the panelists. The next person is Ojere Okorode. She, as a driven and enthusiastic individual, passionate about oil and gas, Ojere is excited to grow in production operations and expand our expertise in drilling and completions. Sorry, I'm trying to catch my words. I need to catch my breath as well. With 6 months of experience in production operations, she has driven a solid foundation in monitoring and optimizing production processes, collaborating with cross-functional teams, implementing safety protocols. Safety is paramount in the industry and she's committed to upholding the highest standards. Additionally, our internship in completions engineering sparked a desire to learn more about the entire oil and gas life cycle. Ojewo is a continuous learner, always seeking knowledge and growth. As a woman in a male-dominated field, she is driven to prove that gender is no barrier to success. She is also passionate about empowering females to excel in to excel in oil and gas. Ojewo currently works as a production operator slash lab technician on the Princess Awini FPSO offshore with Army International Petroleum Development Company Limited. Please, can we put our hands together as we welcome Ojewo Okurode? Please, are you on the call, ma?
Hello, everyone. Good evening. It's good to have you in the lecture hall. Thank you for having me. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, ma. So at this point, I need to catch breath. So I will hand over to Rebecca. Rebecca, are you back? Okay,
Can you hear me, please?
you can proceed. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll move over to the next list. Our next panelist is Kamsi Mugonadi. Sorry, I hope I pronounced that correctly. So Mr. Kamsi is a seasoned sick line lead operator and supervisor with a BNG in chemical engineering and over 10 years of experience in the oil and gas industry. He holds the IWLCF Level 4 certification in well intervention, the BOSET and the OSP, and a Red Cross trained first aider, and have obtained the HSE levels from 1 to 3 with the Institute of Safety Professionals of Nigeria. Throughout his career, he has successfully led teams to complete a wide range of well intervention operations, such as a gas lift valve change out, BHP operations, well abandonment, wax cutting, zone change, upfront operations, swapping operations, SCSSV changeouts, open hole operations. His experience includes both rig and rigless operations with extensive exposure to deep offshore, shallow offshore, and onshore experiences. Mr. Kamsi's technical knowledge includes hydraulic system maintenance and servicing, wireline surface pressure control equipment, PCE, and sick line tools. Together, he also has experience operating cranes and forklifts, as well as good AutoCAD and mechanical design skills. Mr. Kamsi is committed to ensuring the highest standard of safety and operational efficiency in all tasks he performs. Mr. Kamsi, please, if you are in this call, just say hello to us, sir. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Rebecca, can you hear me? I think Rebecca is having network glitches. Mr. Kamsi, can you hear me? I think he's currently out of the call, so I'll call on him again just to confirm he's back. Okay,
Right,
Rebecca,
thank you very much. So this is the time for the roundtable discussion, and we have introduced our panelists. Please sit tight and pay attention as we have them share their experiences with us. So first, we take the introduction question, and the first one goes to Jimmy. So can you share a defining experience that shaped your career in industry when you were starting out as a young professional?
Okay. Can you guys hear me, please? Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you.
Okay,
Okay, please, Kamsi is in. Please, I'm having network issues. I'm offshore, please. I'm in now.
You're welcome, sir.
Okay, confirm I can go ahead.
Yes, ma, you can go ahead.
All right, so the question was I should talk about defining moments in my career that shaped my work. Okay, so I've worked offshore for 2 years plus now, and starting as a young professional, I think my fourth rotation, something spectacular happened because first of all, on the FPSO that I work, I'm the only female on the FPSO, and starting out, like, it was really very scary. Like, it was a brave move for me to take that position, despite everything I've heard about offshore roles and how challenging the environment. So the other rotations, the first 3 rotations were good. I was just learning, asking questions, and getting to know what's happening and stuff. So nobody really like gave me a specific task to do, like carry out the task. So I was just understanding people, asking questions, and there's some equipment that are top tier equipment. They'll tell you, don't to this thing. It is any issues something bad can happen. But on that particular shift, my supervisor just told me that today you are starting the gas lift compressor. And for us, that gas lift compressor is a top tier equipment. In fact, because most of our wells are being gas lifted. And I was fidgeting because I had never started by myself before in my entire trips offshore. But he told me to go ahead and start it, that he's watching me. I was really scared. But he went to see how much I've learned during the past rotations and how I could take up the role we get. So I just did some of the isolations, opened some valves, and to the best of my knowledge, I started that equipment, and my confidence grew. My confidence grew. The feedback that I got from my supervisor at that point was mind blowing. So for me, that was something that really like it turned my career around. Like, gave me the confidence that I could really like this place. Like, there's a place for me here, and if a man can do it, I can as well do well in my career too. So as a young professional, that was a big boost for me to take up other assignments and then to start up other equipment. So that's it for me. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, I was able to hear you.
Yes,
Thank
we
you
can
so
hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, we can hear you. That was a great one.
Thank you so much for your experience. I feel one thing that is very important is trying to give the first impression that we really fit in the place. Sometimes when you're giving a task, they give you the task not because they feel you can do it, but they give you a task because they want to see how you can position yourself to take advantage of the opportunity to really show to the team that yes, you can naturally handle something like that. And your experience is truly worth sharing. Thank you so much, ma'am, for that. And I'll proceed to Zova. Zova, do you mind sharing a defining experience that shaped your career in the industry?
So during my first days on the job as a top class graduate, I had this stupid illusion that I knew everything, and influenced by the stereotypes, I looked down on the old drivers until responding to a car accident. So the car's windshield was broken. Our ambulance driver got out, and the first thing she reached out to fill the glass. To myself, I thought, what is this idiot doing now? He turned around, looked me in the eyes, and said calmly, the windshield is broken from the outside. At the moment, I froze with shame. Really, it was very important, this information. I immediately understood the importance. If the glass has been broken from the inside, it will mean the patient with their head, which will change my injury medical management for the possible traumatic brain injury. A man whom school taught me to coincide unskilled, made a tactical observation that I would never, I swear, never thought of. This lesson defined me. In the field, you never underestimate anyone. Observation is everything, and you can learn the most vital things even from the most ordinary person.
Wow. That was very, very personal. Like I've had a similar experience where I think someone I think I had a vision to achieve something, and the feedback was like I was never gonna achieve it. And eventually I did achieve it. And I think one thing that is very important is how we approach each other on the field, because when you tell someone that the person is not fit for a particular job, or when you tell someone that the person cannot achieve whatsoever the person has put his mind to, is very demeaning, and it can have a negative impact on the person's mental health. Thank you so much, Zuba, for that experience. And I'm sure that has really been a backbone for you thriving in your field of study. Thank you so much for your experience. And I will be going over now to Mr. Kamsi. Mr. Kamsi, I understand you are currently offshore, and I know the network can be somehow, but can you please go ahead, share that one experience that has shaped your career in the industry when you were starting as a young professional?
Okay. Good evening, all. So in the oil and gas industry, we have the production and we have the servicing hands. So which is the well intervention. So we are part of the servicing. The well intervention, the production guys is the owners of the wells, which are these like Shell, Chevron, Total. That are the people that owns the well. That we the intervention experts are the people that come in to service these wells when the well is not flowing, or maybe when they want to get their data from the well. You understand? So that's where we come in. So uh, after 6 years, after six intensive years of being a slackline operator, when they wanted to break me out as a supervisor. So how we do it is before you are broken out as a supervisor to be a supervisor that leads an operation on its own. Initially you'll be going with a senior supervisor. He will be the one to guide you, like first, second time, then the third time you will go alone and complete the task yourself. So this time, I've gone with this my senior supervisor for the first time. The second time, we are in the middle of an operation, not knowing that they've booked him out already. So we are doing a gas lift job that particular day, and it's kind of a delicate operation. So only for him around after 11, for him to tap me when I was in the unit. He told me that he's leaving, that they booked him, that the chopper is coming. I was like kind of surprised, because that's not how we do it. Like after 3 times, then I'll start going independently with my crew. He went and packed his bag, and then when the chopper came, he flew out, leaving only me and my team at the field. Lo and behold, I carried out this operation. Then before he got to town, we had a small breakdown. Our BOP set, our prayer control set started leaking. Lo and behold, we tackled it. And after the operation, we conducted the operation safely, and we are even given award as the best crew on board. So after that particular operation, my confidence increased, and I tend to find out that what is kind of limiting us to achieve some certain tasks is fear. When you know what at times you have some people that can tell you from Genesis from Genesis to revolution of a tool, or how to run a tool, but they cannot run that tool. because of what? Fear. At times we need to challenge ourselves to we need to challenge ourselves to achieve to face our fear and to break out from our circle, our comfort zone, to aim higher. So that is one of my running points during the beginning of my career. Thank you. Can anybody hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you so much, Mr. Kamsi. I think most of the times people are kind of scared. Not that they don't know something, but they are scared that they don't know it, of which they actually knew what they were asking. I've been in a situation where I was told to handle an operation. For me, I was like, I can't do it. But when the tax started, I was surprised. Like it was just so surprising that I could actually handle what I was told to do. So fear is like, how do they call it? Like a
It's
virus.
like
You
it's like a cage.
yes, it
It's like
limits
a
you.
cage. It needs you exactly, exactly. I like even the industry. I have many people that are more than 15 years of experience, but they are not able to run unit because of fear. But I know still know many people that with lesser years of experience, but they have outshine and outgrow them. Not because they don't know what they are doing. These people at times we are these professors will go to them to to take advice because of their years of experience and the challenges they've met at the field, and they will still render these advices to you. And you will but if you tell them to go and do it themselves, you see that they will start telling you, I don't want problem or all those kind of things. So it's kind of tricky. Fear is kind of it's kind of things that limits us in this oil and gas world because people have this intention, people have this notion that we are dealing with a life well, a well of 2,500 psi. A bullet, that bullet that when you pull a gun, when you pull a trigger in a gun, the bullet that goes to shoot whatever you want to shoot is not more than 45 psi. But these live oil wells will have 1,500 psi, 2,000 psi. Do you understand? So imagine if there's an explosion or any miscalculation, what will happen? Nobody there will be alive to write to write the LFI, which is learning from incident. So that's why at times people fidget. People don't see that courage to go and do some operation by limiting them.
Wow.
So at times, yeah. Yeah. So fear at times is I know somebody that going to enter the industry. He has been here more than 20 years of experience, but now he's under me. So that's just it. We need to building up.
Thank you
All
very
right.
much. Mr.
Thank you.
You heard what he said. It's not only enough to know something, it's another thing to be bold about what you know. So at this
Confidence.
point, over to Rebecca. Please, Rebecca, you can proceed.
All right. Moving on, we'll be taking the next question. Please, next slide. So this question goes to Ojewe. The question says, what sparked your interest in drilling and completions? And how did you successfully transition from the classroom into the realities of offshore operations? Now, please, in 2 minutes, can you just share your knowledge with us?
Okay, so I studied petroleum engineering. So and of course, when you say petroleum engineering, you hear a lot of things about drilling, a lot of things about well completion. And if you attend a school like Petroleum Training Institute, you see a lot of equipment, live and direct, even like a demonstration rig. And most of my project work in school, the two project work, ND and HND, they were centered around drilling. So I already had this affiliation to drilling. And funny enough, when I did my 1 year IT, I interned with Slumby J. I was posted to the well completion segment. So you know how in school many times they just like they draw a schematic for you, and for those of you that did petroleum engineering, you see that when they are illustrating a packer to you, it comes with that X signal and all of that. So, but interning in Slum BJ in well completions department, I saw a packer live. I saw many other equipment live, and I was like, this is really interesting. So a lot of things that were just theoretical became practical to me, seeing how the equipment really were in Slum BJ. So, and I saw a lot of female engineers at that time doing their thing. So it really sparked an interest in me. But lo and behold, I was thinking that I was going to be in a servicing company. That's where I'll start my career. But I'm actually in production. I'm not in drilling and completions right now. I don't know what the future holds. So from internship, I did, of course, finish school and went for NYC. So it said how did you successfully transition from the classroom into the realities of offshore operation? Offshore operation, I'll just share a bit of my story to talk about that successful transitioning. So in school, I ran a business, and I posted about the business in LinkedIn, where I got a grant, Access Bank, $1 million Naira grant, and talked about the fact that, oh, I graduated with a distinction. That is where, like, those that are still students, that comes in doing very well, excelling in your school, your academics. And funny enough, the general manager operations of the company I currently work for saw the post on LinkedIn, and then he picked it up from there. And without any interviews, just seeing me physically, that was how I was given this role. So successfully transitioning was not just like a one-day job you get. It came from all the hard work from school, running a business in school, and then getting a distinction that somebody could see that post on LinkedIn, being visible. I know the keynote speaker, thank you very much, our keynote speaker, I learned. So being visible on LinkedIn, and then somebody could pick that up from there. So that's how I actually transitioned from classroom into offshore operations. So yeah, that's it from me.
Oh, thank you very much, man. That's another lesson that we should be creating visibility for ourselves on platforms like LinkedIn. And also when we are choosing project works in school, IT experiences, we should embrace those opportunities. For those of us that have interest in this field, we should embrace the opportunities coming from those areas. All right, so we'll go over to the next question. And this is for Spy. Your question says many young professionals focus heavily on technical skills. From your experience offshore, what non-technical skill has proven most valuable when working in high pressure environments?
So for me, the most valuable non-technical skills is staying calm and managing the patient fear. When someone gets hurt, they are terrified. Everybody's terrified if something happens in our body. Even if they shout or react badly, you must remember they are just scared. So if we stay calm and show them that we are there to do our best to help, we gain their trust. By keeping the patient calm, we turn them into ally. As I like to say, you suddenly have two more hands to help you, they own.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Please always remember to remain calm in the environment. Thank you. So we'll go over to the next question. So the next question is for Kamsi. Many students and young professionals hear terms like slick line, gas lift, well intervention, production optimization, but don't fully understand what happens in the field. Can you walk us through a typical offshore operations you've been involved to give our audience an idea? Please just briefly just bring it down home in a way we can understand. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the wonderful question. So please, slip line, gas lift, they are under well intervention. So please, that's the well intervention there Maybe I don't know whether I was one that made the mistake on my profile, but they're all under well intervention. As the name implies, well intervention, to intervene when the well is not flowing or when there is a problem in the well. That's where you can see the slick line or gas lift. So, uh, well intervention in well intervention. The term well intervention, it implies intervention when an oil well is not flowing. So they tend to call on the intervention guys, which is the wire line. We have many interventions. We have wire line. The wire line comprises of slick line and E line. Then you have the coil tubing, you have the pumping, you have the completion, the rigs, that are all well intervention. So now when they call on this intervention, now let's say they call on slick line. Slick line will go there to run their tools to ascertain. It depends on what happened in the well. Let's take this as an example. A well that is producing a well that is producing 1,000 barrels per day. Later the well started declining 800 barrels, sorry, 800 barrels, 400 barrels, 300 barrels, maybe at 150 barrel, the company will be like, if we need this well is going to shut off and we're not going to have products to sell. Okay, first of all, let's call on Slick Line to come and check what's wrong with the well. They will call Slick Line. The way we're running, maybe let's use this as an example. Maybe we have what we call wax cutting in the well. Oil over time, when oil tends to flow, it will start kicking and building up around the tubing that transport it to surface. So while it's kicking around the tubing, it tends to start bridging the flow to the extent that it will stop automatically. So now we'll go there and cut the wax, and when we cut the wax, the tubing would have transport the crude from down from subsurface to surface. Will now go open. Now you can see how after the operation you still have back your 1,000 per barrel per day production. So that's an example of a well intervention. Then we'll still have other means. Maybe we'll still have other means. Maybe your production is dropping. We have many things that affects production. And these things are called wire lines, leak line, coil tubing, and completion rig. Their job, the cost of the well declining will fall on one of the job you are going to need one of these intervention people to come and do. So generally, slick line is part of a well is part of well intervention that comes to save a well that is not producing, or maybe a well that is done
I did control it.
with the one that is done with our production. So maybe want to abandon it, seal it up, and decommission it. So you can call on a Slick Line to come and do that for you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I believe we all now have an idea about it. So we'll go over to the next question, and this can be to anybody. The question here goes to now Ojoy. Which increasing digitalization, automation, and remote questions? How do you see offshore careers evolving over the next 10 years? Sorry. With increasing digitalization, automation, and remote operations, how do you see offshore careers evolving over the next 10 years?
Okay, so confirm you can hear me, please.
Yes, we can hear you.
The world is advancing. There are new technologies coming into play every single day, new innovation. So personally, how do I see offshore career evolving over the next 10 years? So I believe that people will still be the key in the offshore operations, because in as much as technologies, automation, digitalization are actually advancing, what will be aiding these innovations are people. So as knowledge is being shared, technologies are coming into place, new things are happening. people are actually learning these things, and then they are pushing forth production. We're having new technologies to actually move production. We're having new technologies to actually move maintenance forward. We're having new technologies to actually move marine operations forward. So it's going to be a lot of improvements, because every day new things, people are going into new spaces, undertaking new projects, and seeing things that we never even saw before. So I would give an example of a particular technology right now, and just how it's going to, like, in the next 10 years, how things are going to change. So we have something that we call a multi-phase flow meter. I am in production department, and with that multi-phase flow meter, we can flow different fluids that come from a well. So typically, we know that well fluids, we have oil, water, and gas going through a particular line. So with that particular flow meter, we can know the exact amount of oil, amount of gas, and exact amount of water that is going through that line. So imagine in the next 10 years, with this technology already that's already in vogue now, imagine in the next 10 years that a particular equipment can start giving you the exact characteristics of that oil as it is flowing, the exact characteristics of that gas as it is flowing. So I believe that with automation, with utilization, people are going to be at the forefront of this operation, and they are going to be doing a lot of crazy things that will boost the offshore industry. So yeah, that's what I think with the whole automation and utilization.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Spy, can we hear your own thoughts for this question? Like digitalization, automation, especially in the health sector, the safety. How do you see offshore careers evolving over the next 10 years?
If everything truly becomes automated and there are no humans left on board, then yes, medics will definitely not be needed. But, however, there is always the risk of this system being hacked. If that happened, this automated vessel could be used as weapons and cause massive distraction. Sorry. This risk is the only reason that makes me feel our jobs will not disappear. The human factor will always be necessary as safety net.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you. Mr. Kamsi, please can we hear your thoughts on this just in a minute?
Okay. Yes. With the increasing the digitalization, like the first panelist said, human being is still going to be the key people to play the role, because these machines are programmed, and they cannot do out of what we program them to do. Like when our speaker was saying, he said something that there will be a time in our operation where you will need some actions without approval, as in some things that that's where leadership and experience comes in. Without approval, things that you need to do to turn something that is going to cause havoc. These machines are not going to do it for you. So yes, they will come to aid the production, but it's not going to face out human. It's not going to face out humans in these productions. So that's what I have to say.
All right. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. Because of time, we'll be a little faster. Going over to the next question for Spy. The question says, for aspiring offshore workers, what are some realities of offshore life that are rarely discussed but are very important to know before pursuing the career?
Give me 1 second to find my answer.
All right, ma'am. While we wait for her, can we ask the next question?
So, I found that.
Okay. All right. Please go ahead.
A harsh reality that is rarely discussed is the mental trap of waiting. I see people coming to work, and the only thing on their mind is when they will leave. If you go with this mindset, you will suffer. When you go to that offshore platform, you need to live every single moment you are up there. Every time I walk out on the deck and I observe everything around me, the sea, where I see seals, jellyfish, tuna, birds, and insects that visit the vessel, and the people whom I smile at and they smile back. Yes, I know everyone leaves something behind when they go offshore, but don't leave yourself behind. Take yourself with you. Live and enjoy every moment on the vessel. This is my advice.
Thank you. Thank you. Going over to the next question. I believe we all are paying attention and we are learning from our
Okay.
speakers. So, yes.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I think before we go further, I would love to request each and every one of us to put an emoji, like a clapping emoji on the chat box for Zuva, because you can see she's trying her best to communicate with you in the most simplest form of English language. And that is a great feat. We need to acknowledge uh, our presence and at the same time our effort in making sure that you hear whatsoever she's saying. So if it's not too much to ask, can we put our hands together for Zova? Over to you, Rebecca.
All right. Thank you, Montejo. So, Spy, thank you for that advice. So we'll be taking the next question. Mr. Kamsi, what was the biggest difference between what you learned in school and what you encountered during your first offshore assignment?
Okay, okay. Thank you for this for the question. Uh, the difference, the difference is very very clear. That what we learn in school, what we learn in school is totally different from what we learn out, what you see and what you learn offshore. Just as school will help you in in uh, in in uh, in putting together whatever you've learned, like your measurements and your measurements kind of. So now, if what school prepares our mind, school prepares our mind to tackle any any difficult situation we meet ourselves offshore, because there are still a lot of calculations when you get off when you go to offshore, based on calculating your BS and Ws, and calculating your in production BS and Ws, and your production barrels per day. Then in well intervention, calculating your through vertical depth, the amount of things you pumped, your tool strength, and the depth of your well. So school in general prepares you to get the literature part of the work excellent. Then when it comes to practical, you are going to learn everything practical there in the field. You can never learn it in school. All you have to do is when you see two things come together, be like, okay, this is exactly what they're trying to tell us in school, but you've not done it before. So practically, you are learning everything from your 12 13 spanner there offshore. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you, sir. Actually, for me, I think school just gives us the insight of what to expect, and
Yes.
then when you now get to the field, you now see the whole thing that you've been taught and how to practicalize it. Thank you very much. We'll take the next question. Ojewe, how important are laboratory analysis and production data in supporting offshore operational decisions? And why should young engineers pay attention to these seamlessly less glamorous roles? Please, just in simple terms, just help us answer this question. Thank you.
So the importance of laboratory analysis and production data, they are extremely important. Basically, we know the reasons why we go offshore. We're going to produce oil is because oil is beneath water, right? So what the lab helps to do, there are some very important analysis that we carry out, like the basic sediment and water analysis. With that particular analysis, we would know what each well is actually producing. So imagine that we are offshore and we don't know what each well is producing, and we are just blindly producing. That is completely out of the way. So with the laboratory analysis, we can know the particular percentage of oil we're producing from a particular well. Now, I'll give a scenario now. So imagine that you are not even doing any laboratory analysis. In fact, we scrap the lab and we say we're doing analysis. And maybe for a particular well, you are getting a particular, like getting 80% oil in that well. And then you stop doing laboratory analysis. And the next time, if you check in the next 2 years, you are seeing water about 80%. That is completely what you are not in business, because if you are not producing oil, you are not in business. We are not able to drill for oil. To drill for water. We are able to produce water. So for that particular analysis, it is extremely important. I'll give 2 examples. So I've given one with the PS and W, base sediment and water analysis. The other one is oil in water. We know that part of the fluid that comes from the well is water. And we know we are producing is oil that we want, not water. So as we produce that oil, water comes out with it, and we need to discharge the water back into the sea. So we cannot just discharge the water like that. We have to ensure that what we are discharging into the sea, it is clean and fit to go back to the sea. Because if we don't check the amount of oil we are discharging into the water, we are killing our aquatic animals, rendering our water bodies unfit and unsafe. So at least with these 2 analyses I just explained, you can see how important laboratory analysis are in the offshore oil and gas industry. And yes, young professionals need to pay attention to it. The fact that there is a role like that for a lab technician or a production operator in the offshore industry means that it is important. If it was not important, it won't be there at all, because at the offshore environment, we are trying to minimize space. So if it wasn't important, it won't be there. So yeah, that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, ma'am. So basically what you're saying is that laboratory analysis guides efficiency in production. All right, thank you. We'll be taking another question. This is a general discussion, and just in few seconds, we will want all our speakers to just answer this question. And this first one goes to Spy. Offshore operations can be physically demanding, mentally challenging, and socially isolating. How do you maintain work-life balance and personal well-being while working offshore? Spy, can we hear from you?
Yeah, just a minute because I need my.
That's fine, ma'am.
My people know what my job is like. They know I love it and they respect it. As for me, really, it's my first time in my life that I have so much free time to read and think. So I take full advantage of it. I take great care of my body because I must stay in excellent physical condition. I also follow a strict, specific therapeutic diet because after a serious bike accident, I have too many broken my body. And I need now to protect my body for the future arthritis. And the most important, I'm trying to enjoy the experience on platform and I see everything like one opportunity to learn something new. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Mom. It's very important we protect ourselves, our mind, our body, and for us to be efficient at our work. Kamsi, can we hear from you? Thank you.
Okay, can you hear me? Okay,
Yes, please.
uh, okay. Now for our mental, for our mental health and societal isolation. That's why in oil and in offshore platforms we have free network, free Wi-Fi and free network, so you can communicate with your family, your loved ones at home. Then there you have your entertaining rooms for your TV shows. Then have gym, have varieties of food to eat. So this company they know that when you are there for a long time, you kind of feel caged and get tired of the environment. So they try as much as possible to provide some entertaining amenities for the guys to play with till their hitch finishes. So that's it. That's how we balance
All right,
life
thank you. Jerry, do you have
also.
anything to say?
Okay, so on maintaining work-life balance, for me, like Marquino Sika said, offshore is structured. So we know that for personally for me, I work 6 to 6. So I know between 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. I'm working. So any other time aside from that, I plan my itinerary very well, such that I know when I'm supposed to reach out to a loved one. I know when I'm supposed to sleep. So that helps me to maintain a very good work-life balance. And any opportunity I have, any space of time I have within my working time, I use it as much to do what I'm supposed to do, if it's business, if it is educational or family. And then for well-being, we know offshore it's crazy out there because you have a lot of junk there. And if you are not careful, you can just be consuming everything, forgetting that your health is important too. So I think at a point I was like that, but I had to call back myself and tell myself that the fact that everything is made available doesn't mean that you must consume everything that is made available to you, especially junk. So keeping myself fit physically to also has to be a discipline for me by not consuming every junk I see offshore. So that's the other way I keep myself physically fit and mentally too. Offshore helps me to read. So when I'm offshore, I feel like I'm more productive when I'm offshore. I apart from work stuff, I read a lot of things, schoolwork and every other thing I plan, I think. Yeah, so that's it for me. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. If you're still on this call and you're listening attentively and actively, please be appreciating our speakers with your emojis as they answer these questions that are very pertinent to us. So we'll be taking another question. Sorry, the slide. FG. Please, can anyone see the slide?
Yes, can you see the slide? Can anybody see my screen? Rebecca, can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, I can see. All right, thank you very much. We're having another question for you, Ma'am Ojowe. And it says, I have two innovations, a containerized solar hybrid gas lift optimizer and a slimline downhole anchor catcher, both currently under evaluation with SPE. with SPE Nigeria Council Patent
Yes, please.
Recognition Program. So the question is about the pathway to offshore validation. Hello, ma, can you read what is on the screen? Can you hear me?
Hey, you. I'm trying to read through. Which of the questions do you want me to answer? The first question?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I'm reading through. Just a minute.
All right, I'll still read out. So the first question says, for an indigenous technology vendor with a containerized production optimization system, what is the typical procurement pathway to secure an offshore field trial in Nigeria? In Nigeria Direct Operator Engagement, and in the NCDBM facilitation or partnership with an international OEM? And what documentation or certification is typically required before a pilot can even be discussed?
Okay, so personal onshore, like the office. So, but I would share like something I know about this. So for any vendor that wants to come on board, if you're a new vendor, you have to other vendors that are doing similar certifications that you need to have before you want an opportunity for a field trial. So when we have a list of vendors and then we scrutinize each vendor, we do that at the office, scrutinize each vendor based on certifications, that there are various things, various parameters and indices they use to check any vendor that they can allow to go to the field, because nobody should just go to the field without having those certifications, because we know out there offshore safety is very important. So first of all, what I think is the best thing for you to do from vendors that have gone higher in the same path. For example, if you're a servicing company that does maybe slake line, like in CAMSIS company, you can find the necessary certifications from those companies, research, ask questions, and then you'll be able to know the certification you need to have before even reaching out to the production companies. Like my company is a production company, and then telling them that, oh, you want an opportunity to go offshore to do a free trial. And when they see that you are fit, you are competent enough, your certifications, and based on the track record you have had, even if it's just a new company, then it can give you an opportunity for you to go offshore and then do your free trial and see if your solution will be able to work well with what our facility, what we have. So that is what I would say about that question.
All right. Thank you, ma. Thank
Okay.
you so. Sorry.
Okay. Yes, okay. Should I add?
Yes,
Okay. Sorry.
please.
Okay. Okay. Um. Then this question I understood something that it is a local innovation. Do you understand? So some of these innovations that you are going to take, we don't just you don't just take things offshore because of this safety culture. So your this product that you want to introduce into Nigeria oil and gas safety, what is the success rate? Which company certifies this product? Have the product undergone some of our inspection, all the like API style? We'll have some standard in which your equipment can get up to before you can bring them offshore. So do you have those papers? Then the previous, because you cannot come offshore to try out your innovation. Do you understand? So what's the success rate? The ones you've done, well, you have to convince your clients. And again, what you want to bring offshore, what's the demand? So we have ways to go, because we've embedded ourselves in a foreign equipment. So bringing in locally made equipment into the oil and gas industry, you know that you have to, number one, you have to know and you want to know and defend whatever you want to bring in. So that's what I want to say. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Kamsi, for that addition. That's very important for us to also note. So because of time, we've actually come a long way. We'll be taking the last question, and for each speaker, um, which is for young professionals seeking long-term careers in offshore operations, what certifications, competencies, or experiences would you prioritize? So for each of our speakers, just simply just name the ones that you know. So we'll just take it from there. Just name them, and that's just all. Please, under 1 minute. We'll start with you, Mr. Kamsi.
So for young professionals seeking for long-term career in offshore operation, what certification, competency, and experience would be okay? Okay. Number one is your budget. You have to have your offshore budget, which is your emergency survival skills. Then number two, that one is a must. If you are going offshore, you have to have your budget. You have to have your OSP. No. Then in the services you want to render offshore, you have certifications. Certification is kind of something that qualifies you that you can eventually do this job. Apart from you doing the job already, you have to have a backup papers. Do you understand? So your budget, your OSP, that one is compulsory. Then for sneak light for well intervention, your IWCF, your ICANN. Then when it comes to safety aspects, I don't know. I don't know whether I should I leave this by the part for Zova.
All right, all right. You can
Okay.
just mention the ones you know she could take off from there.
Okay. For well intervention, while working offshore, you need your budget, you need your OSP. Then for swamp or the shallow offshore, weight can come in. Then when it comes to the job, you have to have your medicals, your medical. Then the company you are working, the company you want to work for, they have accredited the hospitals that are going to get these medicals from. Then after your medical, then experience wise, you have to have your IWCF. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Kamsi, for that. Zova, do you have anything to add to this?
So I don't have understand 100% the question, but my answer in this question is that for me, the absolute priorities are continuous education and solid clinical experience in the field. Because let's be honest, fortunately, serious medical emergency happen very rarely in offshore environment. Because of this, a professional needs to get enough street experience first. You need to face the pressure on the road to be 100% sure that whatever happens up on the platform, you will be able to handle it.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ms. Ojere, is there anything you want to add?
I think Mr. Kamsi has said most of the certifications, so I'll just buttress on character. Character. It's still very important. And for experiences, for young professionals, that's why we call young professionals. Most of us don't have like prior experience before joining the job. So your internship experience is there, and then certifications that Kamsi mentioned, then character, and then just your willingness to learn and ask questions. So yeah, that's it for me.
All right. We'll just take our closing question. We'll continue from you, Ms. Ojere. If you could leave aspiring offshore professional with one lesson, just briefly tell us what stayed with you throughout your career. What would that be?
That question is big, oh.
I just make it brief. Thank you.
And then I would say the same thing too. Character, your ability to work with people. You work with different type of people because you see different people offshore. So and you're in close proximity, like you see them every day. So your ability to work with people, that's just it, your interpersonal relationship skills. So that's what I would say.
All right, thank you very much, Mal. This communication skills is very, very important. Almost all our speakers has been talking about it, so I believe we are learning so much from this section. So, Mr. Kamsi, could you please take your last sentence, your last statement for us? What is it that you have to tell us from your own experience that will stay with us? Thank you.
Okay. I don't have much to say. Just that number one is the willingness, the zeal, the zeal inside you to to achieve whatever you want to do in life. Do you understand? Then when you get in there, we can never emphasize on character. Very, 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 very crucial. Then human management, because you're going to work with calibers of people. The people that love shouting, the people that doesn't like shouting, the people that are slow, the people that are fast. So you have to learn how to control yourself, how to talk to people. Then I have to be very careful in terms of be very, very safety when it comes to safety. You have to be safety cautious because that's their key word. Because I like my last experience, I went and peed overboard. As little as that is, they nearly sent me out of the location. So you have to have your self discipline. You have to put yourself together, then know how to talk to people and communicate. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Zeal, willingness, self-discipline, and a whole lot. Thank you very much. We'll take your last comment for us, Spy.
So never let anyone convince you of what you can do or what you are capable of. Try, keep pushing, and do not give up. If your first attempt fails, when something is deep inside your head and it screams, never let it go silent.
Thank you so much. Never let it go silent. Keep pushing, never give up. Just keep pushing. What something comes to your mind, say it. It can be right, it can be wrong, but you stand to be corrected. So thank you so much to all our guest speakers. We appreciate you so much, your time, your wisdom, your knowledge, your experiences that you have shared with us. We appreciate you so, so, so very much. We are short on time and we might not be able to take all the questions that we had today, and but we are sure that the ones that we have taken, it has cleared so many doubts in our mind. It has given us an idea of what the offshore sector looks like. And a lot of us who might have one or two questions on our mind, have the questions that we've answered have touched at least, if not all, but some percentages of those questions. So we want to appreciate our speakers, present their awards and certifications to them. First goes to Spies Over. Thank you so, so much. Please, if you're in the comment section, use your emojis, use your chat box. Let's appreciate our speaker. Thank you so much. We are very, very grateful for your time, for the knowledge, for, in fact, for everything that you've done today. So thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you too. Thank you. Really.
All right, so we'll go over to the next person. Um, the next recognition and certificate goes to Ojewe. We are so grateful for your level of understanding and the way you've answered the questions relating to us and all of that. We appreciate you and your time as well. Thank you so much. Thank you. We appreciate.
Me, I appreciate you guys. So thank you everyone for listening.
And finally, to Mr. Kamsi, thanks for answering Lecture Hub when we called, giving your time. Thank you for sharing from your wealth of knowledge to us. We really, really appreciate you. And we know that we have all learned so much from your experience. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure.
All right. So I think we'll be taking closing remarks. And one of our own leaders at Lecture Hub, Queen Velo, please confirm you're on the call. Queen Velo, are you on the call?
I think she's not on the call, so I'll just go ahead with the closing remark.
All right, thank you, ma'am. Please go ahead.
Please confirm you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, I want to say a very big thank you to everyone. Thank you so much, Mr. Efiel. Thank you very much, Madam Ujewe. Thank you so much, Mr. Kamse. Thank you so much, Mam Zova. This is our first outing with Lecture Hub, and I'm very grateful. Your English proficiency was not really intermediate, it was advanced for us. Thank you very, very much for honoring our invitations. We are very grateful. I'm sure our participants had gained a lot from the session. And thank you so much once again. On this note, we want to appreciate every one of us that has stayed till this time, and we look forward to having you in our, is it August webinar? Yes, August webinar. So this will be a goodbye from us. You can always catch up our discussions on our YouTube page, and follow us on our LinkedIn page also. Thank you so much, Mr. Kamsi. Thank you so much, Madam Ujewe. Thank you so much, Zova. And this will be a goodbye from us. Thank you so, so much. Oh, just to acknowledge some of our participants actually joined from Greece, Germany. Thank you so much for joining. I'm sure Zuba was the one that invited. So thank you so much. I think, oh, she has left already. So thank you so much for joining to support her. Okay, bye.
Are we going